Whoa, it's the Yewllusion reporting from somewhere on spaceship Earth. All right, let's get this flat Earth nonsense out of the way, dude. Whether it's nonsense, real, round, spherical, whatever. I enjoy the intellectual exercise of debating these things in my mind. I like observing the planet I live on. I like observing the reality I'm experiencing. I like thinking about the world in alternative ways. But what I don't understand is the anger. The anger associated with this subject matter. Because ultimately it's a distraction. It's a complete and total distraction from the reality we're experiencing. Whether the earth is round or flat, we can debate it till the cows come home, but it's not going to affect our daily reality. And so when I see a bunch of people getting angry about whether I want to join their cause about it, I'm like, nah, no, thank you. And I don't really get it. As an alternative thinker, I really don't dig people trying to yell at me about this flat earth thing. And I'll tell you, flat earthers, you can never win an argument if your final maneuver is to start yelling at people and trying to force it down people's throats. And that to me is what it's all about, really, is a distraction to get people arguing, to get me to waste my time to make this video. But it just seems to be like this weird thing. And unfortunately, the flat earthers, they might be right. I think there's some interesting stuff that they can, that they're bringing up. But at the end of the day, the anger associated with your attempt to educate or inform or whatever it is you're doing is ultimately shooting you in the foot. And I don't quite understand it unless that is your primary objective, is to, as I'm making this video, I'm like, all right, maybe that is your primary objective, is to get the thing so polarized and have this exploration of the planet we're living on resisted. Maybe that is exactly what you're up to with your anger about believing in the flat earth, is really it's to stop any sort of intellectual pursuit. Because I'll tell you right now, I'm not buying into the scientists anymore. I believe in science, but I don't believe in scientists, I guess is the way to put it. Most scientists are university funded. Most of them are on the teat of the corporations. And so they're to be questioned. About whether our earth is flat or round, I think it's a valid exploration of reality. But at this stage of the game, I think we have bigger fish to fry. Because whether you, from my perspective, again, it's all about proving that the system is deliberately lying to us. And I got it, what you're up to. I get what your exercise is, because if you can, but you're never going to prove it in this lifetime. That's the thing. We're as earthbound beings, dude, you can send all the GoPros to the upper atmosphere you want to look for curves. You can do all your weird lighthouse experiments and all your straight edges on the ocean horizon stuff you want, and all your weird airplane stuff. I think it's fascinating on a level. I like being questioned. I like having my brain challenged. I like having my observation of the five senses challenged. I really do. But this, I need to join you and your side? Nah, I don't play that game, dude. I'm not getting involved with it, because you know what's a real issue? You want to know what's a real issue in our planet that needs the truth to come out is whether vaccines are healthful or harmful. That's a real question. And yet that same question is being polarized by the same people that are polarizing this other issue. The polarization's the problem. I want to know why we still find war as a valid response to anything. That's a real question. I want to know why our drinking water around the planet is being contaminated. That's a real question, a real debate, and a real thing to get edgy about. I want to know why the Satanists and the pedophiles are being allowed to freely harvest the children of this planet for their sick and demented ways. That's something to get edgy about. I want to know why a majority of the women on the planet are treated like slaves. That's a real issue to get uptight about. But whether I want to join your flat earth thing, that's not anything to get uptight about. As a free thinker, as a person who's down to explore all sorts of ideas, I don't want to play in your sandbox. I have no desire to, because there's bigger fish to fry. And you can go round and round about the thing, but I'll tell you this, and this is just a clue to you, flat earthers. If at the end of any sort of information giving that you're doing, you reduce to anger because people don't really buy into what you're telling, ask yourself a question. Are you a dupe? Are you being conned? How much do you know? How much do you believe? Because I, as a dude who's a full observer, you can't trust any of this. You can't trust your five senses. You can't trust the science. You can't trust your own observations, because you're operating in a limited field, a limited spectrum of information. And I got it. The exploration of what's going on in that spectrum, totally valid. But the anger associated with it invalidates it. And that's the thing, because if we want to talk about real issues that are affecting our children, our neighbors, our family and friends, what we've learned is anger isn't going to get it done. Anger is for people trying to deceive people. That's what anger is about. So when you come at somebody and you're saying, hey, check this out, and that person's like, it's not worth my time, and you want to get angry about it, maybe figure out what is worth your time, because what really is worth our time is the safety of our children moving forward into time and space. And every one of those issues I mentioned affects the safety of our children. That should be our number one concern as human beings. Our children. And the children that surround us. Whether you have children or not doesn't mean anything. That should be everybody's number one concern, is making sure that children have fresh drinking water everywhere on this planet. And that children are not subjected to poisons of any kind, whether that's opiates, sketchy vaccines, sketchy doctors, sketchy education systems, sketchy wars, sketchy clouds. No, man. Children are supposed to be protected by us. And debating whether the earth is round or flat is not protecting our children. So, for any of the guys who want to come at me with your flat earth thing or round earth thing, I don't have time for it. I got bigger fish to fry on this life. and that ain't one of them. Maybe one day you'll be proven right, and wouldn't surprise me. Put it this way, wouldn't surprise me. But am I going to invest any of my time on that when there's real things affecting our children and our neighbors and our communities? Nah. No thank you. Not signing up. So kick rocks, baby.